Rajiv here from Math Vibes, and today we're going to look at simultaneous equations.
What the hell?
Simultaneous equations are two or more equations involving two or more unknowns. So I want all to keep that in mind, where the solution is a set of values that satisfy all the equations. So after reading that, you're probably feeling to take a drink. Take up a book and learn some work. Right. So to solve a simultaneous equation, you can either use elimination, substitution, the graphical method, or the matrix method. But for the sake of this video, we're going to look at elimination and the graphical method. So anytime you see more than one unknown, be it X, Y, A, B, whatever the case is, you should already be thinking about simultaneous equations. What should also come to mind is the Moore ratio. You will see what I mean by that just now. So if you don't take away anything from this video, I want you to leave knowing that one is enough. More than one is pressure. So this is the basic concept by elimination. But before I do that, I want all to tag Shania, Ravi, and Prakash and let me know, does this happen in real life? So you see, Shania is a real hot girl. And so she linking with Prakash and Ravi. Now something happened and she ended up with a baby. And so now she wants to figure out who is the father. But there's a problem. We have two unknowns. We have X is Prakash and we have Y is Ravi. So, real bacchanal now. So before I reveal who the father is, I want a to drop in the comment section who all they think it is. What they end up doing was they end up going on the Moore ratio.
In the case of 2-year-old
Rajesh, Ravi.
you are not the father.
And so that eliminated Ravi from the picture. Elimination, eliminate. It makes sense. And in doing that, we end up with Prakash. And if Prakash is the only one remaining, he has to be the father. So that's the basic concept of elimination. We basically want to get rid of one of the unknowns to leave us with one unknown remaining for which we could solve for. So I have a full video on simultaneous equations on my YouTube channel. Feel free to check that out. And I'm also accepting students going into Form 4. So let's move on to an example now. Case 1, elimination with two linear equations. So what exactly is a linear equation? So a linear equation is any equation you can write in the form y is equal to mx plus c. And I could write both of these equations in that form. Additionally, when you plot a graph for a linear equation, you'll get a line. That's why we call it a linear equation, because you get a line.
Wow.
So we have two equations here. And why are we using simultaneous equations? Well, in both equations, we have x and we have y, meaning that we have two unknowns. Anytime you have more than one unknown, it's pressure. You're dealing with simultaneous equations. So we have to get rid of one of the unknowns. So in this example, let's try to get rid of x. So if I want to get rid of x, I should subtract both equations. So in elimination, you either add the equations or you subtract them. If they're the same in both equations, you just subtract them. And if they're the opposite, you just add them so that they would cancel off. So to get rid of x, I'm just simply going to minus equation 1 and equation 2. So I have x plus y is equal to 5 and I have x minus y is equal to 1. So I'm going to subtract them from each other. And as you could see, it's going to be x minus x. Think of it like 5 minus 5. Wouldn't that be 0? So in doing that, we get rid of x and that leaves us with y. So then we have positive y minus minus y. Now, minus minus y is going to turn to plus y. So we have positive y plus y. And so that's going to be plus 2y. Then we have 5 minus 1. So 5 minus 1 would be equal to 4. And so we have 2y is equal to 4. One way you can think about it is, what do you have to multiply by 2 to get 4? So that would be 2. 2 by 2 is 4. So that's your answer. 1 times y is equal to 2. Another way to do it would be to divide both sides by 2 to find for 1y, which is just y. So 2 into 2 is 1, so that's y, and 2 into 4 is 2. So y is equal to 2.
Boom.
So since we have y, we could find for x quite easily. So you could either choose equation 1 or equation 2, it doesn't matter. And so I'm going to show you all both cases. So let's look at equation 1 first. So equation 1 is x plus y is equal to 5. So we know that y is 2, so I'm going to say x plus 2 is equal to 5. If I want to make x the subject I need to isolate x and get rid of everything that is not x. So to get rid of the positive 2, I could subtract 2 on both sides, right? Another way to think about it is you could just move across positive 2. If you move across positive 2, the sign would change. And so you'll get x is equal to 5 minus 2. So x would be equal to 3.
That's free quick maths.
So that's what we get when we use equation 1. But what if we had used equation 2? We'll get the same answer. So equation 2 says x minus y is equal to 1. And so remember, we found that y was 2, so it's going to be x minus 2 is equal to 1. If I want to find for x, I need to get rid of the minus 2. To get rid of the minus 2, you could add 2 on both sides, or you could just simply move across minus 2. The same thing will happen. If I move across something, the sign changes, so that negative 2 is going to turn to plus 2. So again, we get x to be equal to 3.
Oh my God! Wow!
And so if I wanted to write my answer as a coordinate, it would be given by x, y. And the point where they would intersect would be given by x, y. And we found x to be 3, and we found y to be 2. So these two graphs, they would intersect at 3, 2. And we will see for ourselves if that's the case. Now, how do you know if your answer is correct? Well, all you have to do is just plug it into the equations, and it's supposed to satisfy the equations. So let's try equation 1. If I use equation 1 says that x plus y is supposed to be equal to 5. What did I get for x? I got 3, and for y, I got 2. Now, if it's correct, the left-hand side is supposed to be equal to the right-hand side. Now, 3 plus 2 is 5, so 5 is equal to 5. So 3, 2 does satisfy equation 1. Let's see if it satisfies equation 2 now. So it's going to be x minus y. So if I subtract y from x, I'm supposed to get 1. And so I got x to be 3, and I got y to be 2. So that's supposed to be equal to 1. And it is. So the left-hand side is equal to the right-hand side. So 3, 2 satisfies equation 2 as well. So we are definitely correct.
Wow.
Let's just say you wanted to get rid of y instead of x. I want you all to notice that we have positive y and we have negative y. Since they are the opposite, it makes sense to combine them so that they would cancel off. So another word for combine is add. So anytime you're trying to cancel off something and it's the opposite, you just simply add, because it would cancel off when you add them. So that's going to be x plus y is equal to 5 and x minus y is equal to 1. Right? We're going to add this time around. So x plus x is 2x. Positive y plus minus y. Since you're combining opposites, they would cancel off. And so that would just be plus 0. So you see in this rounds, we got rid of y. And so we have 5 plus 1 is 6. And we have 2x is equal to 6. Again, another way you could think about it is, what do you have to multiply by 2 to get 6? Obviously, the answer is 3, so x is equal to 3.
And that's free quick maths.
Another way to do it would be to divide both sides by 2 to find for 1x. Right? And in this case, 1x would just be equal to 3, because 2 into 6 is 3. So we got the same answer as above, x is equal to 3. And to find for y, you could either use equation 1 or you could use equation 2. And you're supposed to get the same answer. So let's test that out. Equation 1 says that x plus y is equal to 5. If I know that x is 3, I could say 3 plus y now is equal to 5. If I want to find for y, I need to isolate y. So I'm going to move across the 3. You could think about it like that, or you could think about it as subtracting 3 on both sides. So if I'm moving across the 3, it's going to turn to negative. So it's going to be 5 minus 3. And so 5 minus 3 is 2. And that's the same result we got above. Let's try it with equation 2 now. Equation 2 is x minus y is equal to 1. And so x is 3. So I'm going to say 3 minus y is equal to 1. So I'm trying to find for y. So I'm going to move across everything that is not y. So I'm going to move across 3. In other words, I'm going to subtract 3 on both sides. So I'm going to end up with minus y is equal to 1 minus 3. And so 1 minus 3 is minus 2. but I don't want to find for negative y, I want to find for positive y. So all I have to do is multiply both sides by negative 1. Negative y by negative 1 is positive 1y, which is just y, and negative 2 by negative 1 is just 2. So no matter how you do it, you'll get the same answer.
Let's go.
Right? And this answer is 3, 2. And again, if you were to sketch the graph, you'll get two lines, and the two lines will intersect at 3, 2. And let's see if that's the case. Maths is beautiful, isn't it? So, as you can see, if I were to draw the graph, this is x plus y is equal to 5. It's a straight line. If I were to draw the graph of x minus y is equal to 1, it is a straight line as well. And they intersect at 3, 2. And why is that the answer? That's the answer because if you notice, at the point of intersection, doesn't this point lie on both of the graphs? So if our point lies on a graph, then it would satisfy the equation. This is the point of intersection, so both of the lines pass through the point. And so this value here should satisfy both equations, and we saw that earlier. Because 3, 2, it satisfied this equation, and it satisfied this equation. So if you learned something new, don't forget to drop a follow, like, share, and comment.